to the Spicy Booknook, where we discuss all of our favorite and not so favorite dark and dirty book series. We're your hosts, Aj.
And Tay. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today we will be reviewing Chaos by Sarah Bailey. Please be aware that there will be spoilers and explicit content for mature audiences only. Trigger warnings for this book include graphic violence, domestic violence, and abuse, drug use, infertilities, scarification, drugging, kidnapping, mentions of suicide, graphic sexual content, including but not limited to dubcon, non-con, CNC, primal, degradation, praise, bondage, shibari, rope play, um, blood play, knife play, edging, voyeurism, double penetration, anal, and face fucking.
All right.
Yeah.
What
So,
did you rate it?
um, I would give this one about a 3. And what about
Yeah.
you?
Uh, yeah, I would say a 3. Honestly, nothing really stood out. I feel like we read 400 pages and I'm still at the same place that I was in the first book.
Exactly.
Like I feel like for us reading as big, like as long as this book was, I feel like from the first book to now I'm not any more clued in than I was before.
Yes. I think that's where
The
that 3
story's
star comes in.
literally not moving.
And it was pretty repetitive between the guys. Like,
Yeah.
the boys pretty much said the same thing. And it was just a different boy who said it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, I'm yours, you're mine forever. I love you. And like, that's it. There was no depth to these characters at all. I feel like there was no
I
reason for them to love her this much. And maybe we'll find out later, but
girl,
it,
at this rate, I don't even want to
me
cuz
either. That's exactly what I'm
so
at. Like,
I'm like at this rate, I'm only rating it a 3 just based off the fact that, I love a reverse harem.
yeah.
That's really it though. Like I agree the characters had really no depth at all. Like I don't know. I figured since this is the second book we would finally get more development of the story. Like in the first book I kind of brushed it off cuz I was like, "Oh, it's the first book." So, maybe we'll just get more in the second book. And when I tell you it feels like the story did not move even a fucking inch.
Not an
Like
inch. I don't know who her daddy is. I don't know what the
we
problem is. I
don't
don't know what
know.
kind of work they do. I don't
We
know.
still don't know what happened and why she has amnesia and doesn't remember them. We still don't know about the accident. And at this rate, Sarah Bailey, girl, you got it. Because I don't even want to know. Like,
Yeah,
like,
it made me sad because I'm normally like, "Ooh, I will still give it a chance," but
yeah,
I don't care at this point because it was the full book was literally it felt like I was still reading Carnage.
yeah. I'm like, at this rate, we didn't read basically 800 pages of
Of the same
nothing.
shit.
We've
And like,
gotten nowhere.
I'm okay with, pouring over plot, and that's definitely this book because the plot is not thickening at all. It's
Yeah.
very much a thin ass plot. I don't know what the
Which
fuck is going on.
surprised me because normally, porn over plot, I'm normally like cool. But this just did not do. I think because of what you said, that it's literally like they're all saying the same things, but she'll just switch what guy says it is so it doesn't feel like I don't like I feel like these characters kind of blend together a little bit except for Wes. Like Wes is the only character that kind of stands out. And I
He
feel like
changed from the first one. Like,
and
that
I
was the only
feel
difference.
I don't know. I just feel like when we read Den of Vipers, we could tell each character who they were, their personality, their what they were saying was different. When we read Losers, each character was completely different. Like you could tell
Yeah.
the difference between the characters. just by their conversation. And
Yeah.
in this book, it's like they all blend together. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, for like us listening to the audiobook for like the last fucking hour, like most of the scenes, I'm like, I don't even know who's who, like who's talking, because it just blends into one.
Yeah, and the audiobook was absolutely horrible to me. Like I couldn't do it. Like I had to actually read the book and find time to read because the person who did, I think it was Prescott's voice, was just I couldn't listen to it. It was just really bad. And so it, yeah, and no offense, like it just wasn't my type. Like I couldn't take him seriously at all. So I was just like, I'm just gonna read it because it was. But once I started reading it, I feel like that's when you really focus on the words that they're saying. And I just kept hearing the same thing over and over again. Every time a boy was around, Scarlett, we kept hearing, I love you, and like you're always gonna be mine, or like they'd be like, we don't share with anybody, we'll kill anybody and whatever to anybody who touches you. But then they're like, oh, but we like to share with each other. Like it was just so like contradicting and very just, it wasn't really, there wasn't anything that I was interested in continuing.
We didn't gain any more insight on literally anything from the first book. Like, I literally feel like reading this book gave me no clarity. Like, I'm still like, okay, why do you have amnesia? What happened in the accident? What does
Yeah.
your dad really do? Like you said, like, we still have no. And then I'm like, what was your relationship with Mason prior? Because clearly there's something
Yes.
going on there and they don't like him. But we
Something could
haven't
have been
gained anything. We
cracked
literally have
open.
not. We're still completely in the dark. And honestly, I just don't think, me personally, I care to read the other,
I
what, two
don't.
books.
Yeah, I don't.
Because if I've already read the first two and we're literally still at square one, like, I, I just don't think that this is for me. Like, honestly, since we are reviewing it on here, I finished it. But I do think that if we weren't reading this together and I just like picked up this book and started reading it,
It'd
I
be a
think
DNF.
probably at least if I got to 60% in, and I would DNF it.
Same. I wanted to DNF it, but because we
You
were
seen
reading
me
it
texting
together.
you, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my fucking god, bruh.
And it's like, I'm not saying it was a bad book because the smut was on point. Like every scene was, it had really good scenes. Like there was a scene where like I want to say it was like Drake was like fucking on her on Scarlett's like ass, and then she was like, he was like, I can find somebody to fill your pussy for you. And I thought that was like, that was a good top notch scene. But at the same time, the plot was just like, not, like you said, absolutely nothing has moved. Like we learned that Wes can be a little bit more gentle, and he has
Mhm.
reasoning why he wants to be a little bit more gentle, but he can't be. But we didn't even go deeper into that. Like that's all I know about that. Like that's, and so I feel like I should know a little bit more about something, because right now there's not. I'm still in the. I'm very much in the dark. Like I there's nothing new that I can say that I didn't say when we reviewed the first book. And
Okay.
that's the part that's horrible because I'm
I
like, I want it
really
more.
like, I was honestly even dreading doing this episode because I'm like, guys, I don't have anything new to say because it's literally like we just reread book one all over again. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I really don't have any insight like to give because the book was just stand still. It was just stand still. We didn't move forward. So I don't really know.
yeah. I don't think I've ever been felt like a book kept me this stagnant for so long. Like there were books that where I was just like, oh, I want more, but they still give me a little bit. But this one, I feel like, uh, I just the smut really saved it. If you ask me.
Yeah, I just was, I don't know. I just really, Yeah, like I just thought like finally we would have at least a little clarity. Like I was like, okay, finally. I'm like maybe in this book we'll actually find out like what their relationship was prior. I'm like even if we don't find out about the accident itself and she saves that for book 3, okay, cool. I was like, but at least we'll probably, maybe we'll have more flashbacks to their life prior so we could kind of at least see like what their relationship was prior.
I
Because
wanted to at least know the
obviously,
beef between like the dad and shit.
like,
Like
at least they
something.
keep saying, like, it's like obviously they keep saying over and over, you were so important to us. You were like one of our best friends. You were the most important thing in our life. And then we just don't get that. So I'm like, can we at least get like some flashbacks to see why does the dad hate them so much and where did that come from? Why does Mason hate them so much? Why do they hate
Yeah.
Mason? Where did he come into play? Can we get flashbacks of her meeting Mason or what that problem is? Like we didn't get anything from the past, and since this book is kind of based on a traumatic thing that happened in the past, I feel like we kind of need to know at least what's going on. If
Yeah.
not, we're just reading the same scenes over and over and over again.
And that's what this book is. The same scenes over and over and over again.
Yes. So this is going to be a short episode, guys, cuz
Yeah. I
I
say
don't have
skip
anything to
the
add.
I say if anything, skip the first book and read this one and then maybe try the third book because
Yeah, because
it
you really aren't any further. It it
no.
it literally, the story doesn't move along at all. Like you literally could start book 2, and then you wouldn't be. Trust me, anyone who read book 1 wouldn't be any further along than you would be from just starting book 2. Like
No.
they're pretty much the same thing. We're still lost.
Yeah.
Still lost.
There's nothing that you're missing if you read like first chapter 1 and 2 of the first book and then just move on to book 2 because
Yeah.
it it's the same shit. And like I just if anybody read book 3, let us know if it gets better, but I don't think I'll be moving on to that one.
Yes. So I I hate to say it because I normally, I love to to recommend books, but I truly don't think I would recommend this book, friend.
Me either. Me
I hate to say that because I just I don't
I
know,
want to
but
like it.
I just feel like okay, so maybe if you're okay with it taking long for the story and the plot to thicken, then maybe this would be a book for you. I personally just feel like starting book 3, like in book 1 and 2, I just feel like personally I should be a little bit further along with knowing what's going on, and the fact that I don't, that makes it not for me. But if you're someone who doesn't care about, how long it takes for the plot to kind of come together, then maybe this would be a book for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really really big slow burn.
Definitely. But I thank you guys for listening, even though this was a really short episode. I'm sorry. We just
Yes.
didn't have much to add. We didn't gain much from reading the second book.
No, unfortunately, but we'll be back soon with another episode and hopefully we have, a better shot at a longer episode.
Yes. So thank you guys for listening.
Yep. Bye.
And it goes a little